third race is about to get underway here at Brands Hatch for the F1000 Championship. Got Michael Watton on pole position as he won race 2. But it's Adam Walker's second podium ever in race 2, and he starts second on the grid. Adam, can you see another podium on the hands?
Yeah, hopefully that's what I'm hoping for. If I get a good start, anything's possible, even a win maybe. So yeah, decent start and just get my foot down.
Yeah, you got to keep an eye on those mirrors, a lot of quick boys behind you.
Yeah, there's a lot of quick boys, but if I can get them off start, just like last race, then I won't have to bother with my mirrors too much, hopefully.
Good luck.
Thanks a lot, cheers.
So, with that, for the final time, I'll hand you up to the commentary box and Andy McEwen.
Yeah, thanks Anthony. It's going to be interesting to see this one because they start this third and final race the way in which they finished race 2. So it's Watton and Walker row 1, then Iyengar and Butcher row 2, ahead of Clowes, Mitchell, Dax Ward and Peter Lague, rounding out the 4th row, then Robert Bailey, David Wheel and Christopher Hill at the back. So Walker has another shot at this, starting at the sharp end of the grid. Yes, Michael Watton's on pole, but he is not renowned for being the best of starters, so there's a chance still that Walker could get him into turn 1. Let's see what happens then. The red lights go out, away we go, but Watton does get a good start. Here come Clowes and Butcher from behind. Very close indeed, and Clowes gets rather boxed in by Butcher, so Butcher will go around the outside and is ahead of Dan Clowes an awful lot earlier in this race than he's been ahead of him in either of the first 2 races, where on both occasions it's been a late race manoeuvre to get ahead of the green machine. Butcher now goes around the outside of Iyengar as well. Alok's going to show him the edge of the road on the exit of the corner though, so Butcher sensibly backs out of it. Down the hill, oh, and Iyengar spins! Well, that made it easy for Butcher. Alok Iyengar loses the rear, probably cold brakes, cold tyres contributing to that as he turned into Graham Hill Bend, and sadly the number 44 machine off the road and going no further for the time being. So back through clearways we go, and Paul Butcher's had a miraculous first lap here, hasn't he? Started 4th, didn't really get a great start, but he's been involved in all of the shuffling, hasn't he? So Watton leads the way, Walker 2nd, Butcher 3rd, Clowes is 4th, looking to try and resume his battle with the 42 machine over the course of this race. Only this time around he will be the man on the attack, and then I think it's Dax Ward and Elliott Mitchell next in line. Yes it is, so Dax and Elliott, both of whom had a pretty tricky start to the weekend with mechanical issues in race 1, but it just goes to show that if you get the cars working again, start plugging away, you can improve your weekend. Alok Iyengar hasn't really improved his situation there, has he? Because he'd spun to the outside of the track and somehow in the space of the last 45 seconds has got himself beached on the curb on the inside of the track. So Alok Iyengar, the Indian driver, now finds himself well and truly stuck and requiring the assistance of the ever efficient Great British Marshals. I'll wait to see whether they require a safety car intervention to move that car. We pretty much always end up with a safety car intervention here at Brands Hatch, it seems. It's just one of those things, this circuit with lots of gravel traps to get stuck in and quite tricky corners like Paddock Hill Bend and Graham Hill Bend as well that tend to catch drivers out. We almost always end up with a safety car in at least one of the 3 races, but with the marshals moving that car out of the way without the need for a safety car intervention on this occasion, we may get away with it this weekend. We haven't had a safety car in the first 2 races. It would be great if we could get through all 3 of these races without that safety car making its way onto the circuit. Butcher now escaping from Dan Clowes here, look, and I would suggest starting to close the gap potentially on Adam Walker, who tied his best ever finish in the Speed Group F1000 Championship in race 2. He had finished 2nd once before. Loved to have gone one better though, and he will still, I'm sure, be kicking himself for that, but he's proven this weekend that he's got the pace, and I think a lot of people have stood up and taken notice of Adam, and regardless really of what happened in the traffic in race 2, he proved he's got speed and good racecraft, so he's not going to be easy pickings here for Butcher and Clowes. They'll both be keen to get through because they will feel that they're quicker than him, but Adam isn't going to make it easy for them, and nor should he. Through Surtees we go, on board with Paul Butcher here in 3rd place, definitely closing in though on Walker. 3rd gear there through the right-hander at Clearways, hard on the accelerator now, holding 3rd gear right the way through onto the Brabham Straight before we change up to 4th and 5th in quick succession. Snatch 6th across the line. This is where Butcher's been really good on the brakes there. We saw him make that textbook manoeuvre on Clowes in race 2. Wasn't quite close enough to Adam Walker to execute the same sort of overtaking antics this time around. Behind them, the Dax Ward and Elliott Mitchell battle is still raging, with Elliott having a quick peek up the inside there into Druids. Couldn't quite make it stick though. Remember, they both started at the back in race 2 and finished 6th and 7th, with Mitchell actually ahead of Ward. So Ward's got ahead of him at the start of this race. He'll be keen to redress the balance. Through Surtees they go. Are absolutely on the limit of adhesion because of the light nature of these cars. They only weigh about 335 kilos without the driver on board, that is. But with that 185 brake horsepower superbike engine powering them, they are such potent machines, these F1000 cars. Back through Paddock Hill Bend, down the hill they go. You see the suspension really working hard there. The suspension, one of the things that can be adjusted to help your setup if you're struggling with speed. Fully adjustable wishbone suspension. Brembo brakes as well, which do a good job of stopping the cars. Really are proper bits of kit. Butch has been using those Brembo brakes pretty well, hasn't he? Paddock Hill Bend so far this weekend, making a few moves. Is he close enough to Adam Walker this time to try and make another one? I don't think he is. Walker has got that sort of 4 or 5 car length advantage, hasn't he? There goes David Wheel, double invitation class winner so far this weekend, looking to try and get to the end of this race and make it a hat-trick. Staying well out of the way. It'd be great to see a few more of those older F1000 cars out on the grid though. Just to give David a bit more competition in his class, but just to get, you know, to see some of those cars back on the circuit, cars that may not have raced or even been on a racetrack for possibly a couple of decades. So up towards the end of another lap we go. And again, very impressed here with Adam Walker. He's holding a good pace. He's not letting Butcher get close enough to have that dive up the inside into Paddock Hill Bend or indeed any other corner. And so, although Butcher is, you can see, visibly later on the brakes than Walker, he's not close enough to capitalise on that. To Druids, back round the right-hander. These three fairly equidistantly spaced out now, aren't they? If Walker can hang on to this second position, he's going to be right up there inside the top 3 or 4 in the championship, I think. Of course, Clowes has had a 3rd and a 4th, Butcher's had a 2nd and a 3rd, Walker's had a 5th and a 2nd so far though, so if he can hold on to 2nd place again, he certainly will be 3rd in the championship, could even take 2nd depending on where Butcher and Clowes end up. Towards Paddock though goes Michael Watton again, the dominant driver this weekend, there's no doubt about it. New paint scheme on the car for 2018, a slightly simpler, cleaner look on the number 1 car, but it's still beautifully turned out. He turns his way now down through the left-hander at Graham Hill Bend, supported on most race weekends by his father Mark, Michael. The thing you tend to see in the F1000 paddock is that it's a real family affair. Peter Lague, another one whose son Doug mechanics for him. Doug actually a fairly handy racer in his own right actually, but tend to get a lot of lad and dad operations in F1000 racing. Again, keeping the costs down. You don't need a huge team of engineers to run these cars, and yet you still get such performance and such enjoyment out of them for reasonably little money. The base car itself is probably the most expensive part of the whole package. Tyres and race entry from the BRSCC, all of that lot doesn't really add to the cost a huge amount. Again with Dan Clowes here as he makes his way down in towards Surtees. He's closing back in, I'd say, on Paul Butcher here, isn't he? So Butcher, having had a little go at closing in and challenging Adam Walker, is possibly now starting to slip back into the clutches of Clowes, and there will be some real irony to that, wouldn't there, if Clowes could find a way past Butcher in the late goings. We are now into the second half of this final race of the weekend, the Speed Group F1000 Championship, and if Clowes could find a way through, that would go some way, perhaps, to improving his mood after losing positions to Butcher in both the first 2 races. Towards Druids they go, back down the hill. This tight and technical Brands Hatch Indy circuit couldn't be much different to the circuit they'll be racing at in a few weeks' time. The Snetterton 300 layout playing host to the F1000s next, in a calendar that sees them then travel to Cadwell Park, Rockingham, Castle Combe, Croft and Donington Park at the end of the year, including a couple of races on the new for 2018 TCR UK support bill. some great exposure from being involved on those packages. We'll get some big grids out as well for some of those meetings later on in the year. Having just said that Butcher was starting to fall away from Adam Walker, potentially with a little bit of back markery going on, Walker has just started to slip back into the clutches of Butcher now, and then he runs wide at Druids, which won't help. And so Butcher will now start to smell blood in the water potentially. There could yet be a chance for Paul to take second place. Another missed apex there from Walker. So just a couple of mistakes starting to creep in. That allows Butcher to get closer, and the closer Butcher gets, the more pressure he applies to Adam Walker, the more chance there is that potentially there could be another mistake coming. So we'll have to see how this pans out over the final third or so of this race. We'll go with Dax Ward meanwhile. So he heads down in towards the quick left-hander at Surtees. I'm looking around for Elliott Mitchell, who I don't see in front of us, which tells me he presumably is still behind us. So Dax Ward doing a good job. Yep, there is Mitchell behind as they negotiate a slower runner, but Mitchell closes in and pulls to the outside. Now, is he late enough on the brakes to make this one stick? Yes, sensational move there from Elliott Mitchell. And that is the exuberance of youth, I think, there, isn't it? The hotel manager, 22 years old, very young for such responsibility, but he showed there that he had a wise head on his shoulders, but he's willing to take the risks when needs be. It's fair to say, though, that Dax's car didn't seem to be right up to speed across the start-finish line, though. That allowed Mitchell alongside, but then under braking, he still had to do all the work of travelling right around the outside at Paddock Hill Bend. So, great stuff that from Elliott. As they make their way back onto the pit straight, so that is now 5th position then for Elliott Mitchell. This is 4th position, Dan Clowes, and ahead of us we can see that Adam Walker has got Paul Butcher closer than ever behind him now. So Paul is looking toey here. He'll want to get through, because if Walker really starts to defend, that will bring Dan Clowes right back onto his tail. So the sooner he can make this move stick, the better as far as Butcher's concerned. Clearways is a potential overtake opportunity, especially if Walker runs wide. And again, that's the 4th or 5th time we've seen over the last few laps Walker not really making friends with the apexes. And Butcher will know this is his chance. He's closer than ever up towards Paddock Hill Bend, which has been his hunting ground all day. Up the inside, no. Walker late on the brakes. In fact, Butcher runs a bit deep into the corner. And so now Dan Clowes starts to close back in. So I continue to be impressed with Adam Walker's performance here. Not only is he showing good pace, but he's showing that when he needs to get his elbows out and defend a position, he is more than capable of doing so, even keeping Paul Butcher behind him. And Paul really has been the overtaking king this weekend. So good stuff there from Walker. And with every lap that goes by, we get further and further into this race, closer and closer to the checkered flag flying, and closer to the possibility of an Adam Walker double second place. Paul Butcher close again though, up towards Paddock, but he'll know that he's going to have to do better than he did on the last lap to make that move stick. In fact, he doesn't even attempt it this time around, because you could see that he was right on the limit of his braking ability, because he nearly locked up and went straight on into the gravel on the previous lap. So Butcher can't brake any later than that, so he's going to have to try and find somewhere else to get through. I think maybe Clearways could be his best chance, because Walker's been making a few mistakes down here at Graham Hill Bend. Again, he's just a foot or so away from the apex. He's doing just enough at the moment to keep Butcher at bay. Through the left of Surtees, the right of McLaren, then Clearways, the tight right-hander. Traffic could potentially present an opportunity for Butcher as well, especially given what happened to Walker in race 1 with the map markers. That's the 33 machine of Robert Bailey again, moving well out of the way. His second ever meeting as Butcher goes up the inside into Paddock Hill Bend. This could work. There's traffic in the way as well. Walker tries to come across to the inside to defend, but he can't do it. And so in the end, it was Paddock Hill Bend that was Walker's undoing. However, this is not over yet. He's hanging tough on the outside at Druids. That'll give him the inside line for Graham Hill Bend. This is going to be close. Butcher wants to close the door but can't. They both run a bit deep into the corner though, and Dan Clowes gets up the inside of the pair of them. Brilliant stuff that from Dan Clowes. He read the situation beautifully, and whilst he won't be able to get past Walker, he will get past Butcher and move into 3rd position. So, well, there we go. He's done exactly what Butcher did to him in the first 2 races, found a way through, and that was beautiful racecraft there from Dan Clowes, really showing his experience there. Adam Walker, again though, tenaciously hung on round the outside at Druids. That gave him the inside for Graham Hill Bend. and he was able to hang on to the place, but in doing so they both ran a bit deep, and that opened the door beautifully for Dan Clowes, who just teed them up to perfection. Butcher's trying to come back at him now though, which is all letting Adam Walker off the hook. Butcher all over the place though. I think he's rather overheated his rear tyres with all of the excitement over the last lap or so. This has been a tremendous battle, race long between these three. Okay, the positions haven't been changing lap on lap, but it's been a real race of mind games, hasn't it? A psychological battle between particularly Butcher and Walker, but in the end it's Clowes who in a way has come out of this the best. Michael Watton has again been missing out on all the fun really, hasn't he? He's stretched out to a very impressive lead indeed. It wasn't a huge advantage until the three cars behind him started to fall over each other. It was only sort of settled at about 2.5 seconds or so. He's doubled that now though as a result of, in fact more than doubled it as a result of the battling going on behind, but he is now heading towards that hat-trick of race victories that is an elusive thing in F1000 racing. But Watton really has been the class of the field at Brands Hatch this weekend, there's no denying that. And the 3 race wins from 3 is an accolade that he well deserves. Back out of clearways he goes, it's all still kicking off behind. Peter Lague, that is, in the mix, going a lap down in the white and red number 9 car, which he does by going to the inside at clearways. That negated any opportunity though for Butcher to have a go at Clowes on that particular occasion. Michael Watton though, for the final time this weekend, makes his way down through Paddock Hill Bend, up underneath the Brands Hatch Bridge, and is well on his way on this the final lap to a near perfect weekend. Well, in fact it will be a perfect weekend. 3 race victories, 3 fastest laps as well, and so the maximum 90 points will be going his way. But Adam Walker, I think, is going to do enough here to finish the weekend second in the championship. We'll follow that later though, because for now all eyes are on Michael Watton, who makes his way towards the checkered flag to take 3 wins from 3 in the opening race meeting for the Speed Group F1000 Championship. Fantastic opening weekend for him. 2nd place for Adam Walker, 3rd for Dan Clowes, and 4th Elliott Mitchell, because we lost Paul Butcher, would you believe, on the penultimate lap of the race. It's then Ward in 5th, Lague in 6th, ahead of Robert Bailey, David Wheel and Christopher Hill. Of course David Wheel wins the Invitational class again, but drama for Paul Butcher and late race retirement for him.
Mike, 3 out of 3 season opener, couldn't have asked for a better start.
No, perfect start. I mean, we were looking to come back strong, obviously. I've never won here before, so to come back so strong is just a fantastic way to start the season. That last race, the start was everything for me. I think getting in the lead, there's a big battle behind me, so I think they all held each other up. So yeah, just thank my dad for fantastic car preparation, BSD for the engines, and all Jedi support. So brilliant day.
I was going to say, but you had a big smile on your face when you looked in the mirror and saw them all battling.
Yeah, I mean that's perfect. That's what you want in the lead. You want everyone else battling behind you, worrying about each other rather than worrying about you. So yeah, able to control the race again like the first one, I would say. So perfect day.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Coming into the season opener, Adam, you only had 1 podium. At the end of today, you got 2. Well done.
Yeah, no, I couldn't be happier. Well, if I'd have got first, I'd be happier. But yeah, two podiums, I couldn't have dreamed of this. So yeah, I'm really happy. It's all about the start, really.
So you've learned a lot now, onwards and upwards.
Yeah, that's it. If I can get good starts and keep going, keep this pace up, then who knows what's possible, yeah.
Well, for now, go and enjoy it.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Dan, 3rd place overall, you've got to be happy.
Yeah, really happy. Really good scrap again. Could see Michael sneaking away at the front as Adam, Paul and I were squabbling, and I just kind of sat in there comfortable with the pace and waiting to see what happened with the back markers, and I got my chance and sneaked past Paul. I don't think he made it back, but yeah, really good race, really pleased. Thanks to the boys at JFK. We've had a top weekend, really good.
Congratulations, go and enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Well, we've had a fantastic opening round here at Brands Hatch for the F1000 Championship. Mike Watton's run away with it, 3 wins, 3 races. Can he do it all over again? Well, find out next time when the action comes from Snetterton.